There we go. Everyone hit that got it button. And first, thank you, Liz.
I was
Oh,
named
wow.
Robert.
We got a hand right off the bat.
I was gonna say, let's talk to Robert.
We should,
I mean, to
we,
Tech
sh-
Bits.
we should have known Tech Bits was the first one. Go ahead.
Good morning. As a new
Good morning.
agent, I'm really confused. I've got multiple forms that come from my different MLS systems and from my state. Which ones do I use?
The state approved documents. Approved documents. Do not start the NEFAR thing right now. We're not going to do that. So if you are in Jacksonville and you are part of their board, you know that NEFAR has their own documents that is drawn up by them. However, I always recommend using, if you're in the state of Florida, using the state of FAR documents. Hope that answers your question, Tech Bits.
Can I have a follow-up on that? I'm reading listings and they're telling me that I can only use a specific set of forms. Is that legal? Is that allowed?
No, that is not legal. Well, excuse me, that is not legal. So you should be able to use either, if you want to use a FAR document, you should be able to do so. And if not, you can report them to the board.
Can I mix and match forms from different boards and different?
No, you cannot. Make sure if you're going to
I love
start our NEFAR, if you're going to start our NEFAR or Florida FAR documents, stick to one, do not mix and match.
And then
Thank
Will,
you,
I saw
Liz.
you have your hand up for a quick second. Do you have a question or you want to add on to that?
Well, I wish Chris Dove were on the program today. I don't see her up here, but I have a brother-in-law who's a realtor in Tallahassee, and they have to use board documents. They don't use the Florida documents in their.
Interesting.
That's what he said. So I'd be interested to know what her input is on that.
I'll give you my input on it. When I end up in court, who's gonna defend the forms? Who approved them?
Well, I'm sure they have a legal team that goes over them. I mean, you can't not do that, so I don't, again, I don't know. That's just what I've heard, or that's what he told me, because we were talking about some elements of a contract that he had versus something that I was going through here in Central Florida. And he said, well, our contract's a little different, blah, blah. And so it was news to me, but that's how he said they operate up there with their board.
That's interesting. I think overall, everyone should just be aware that you can, for our newer emerging agents, you have your mentor, you have your sponsor, you have your broker. At the very least, your broker will have all of these answers. I like to go to the broker. That way, if anyone comes for me later, I'm like, nope, my broker told me, and it's in writing right here. Thank you very much. And then it just goes back to the broker. So when in doubt, please refer to your broker.
George.
Hey, I'm going to put this in the chat. There is a number that can be called. This is for everybody that's with EXP, because the question is, well, I've got this question. How do I get this answer? There's a direct line number that is whatever answer you need, they have the answer for you, or they can direct it, and it's a phone call number. So I'll be sharing that in the chat in just a couple of seconds. There's also, I'm sorry, yes, but it's actually a new one that they just said that is like everything, and it's pretty cool. So and you can literally, if they're not sure of it, they can give you the direction. But I want to also mirror on what was just said, that always, it doesn't matter who you're with, always check with your broker and find out what your broker is telling you to do, because ultimately the broker is the one that is really in the legal relationship, as we all know, and that is the absolute. That being said, do it in a text message or workplace chat if you're communicating that way, or an email, so that you have a paper trail if it goes against what feels like might be the best answer. And I go back to tech tips on this one. What's defensible? And nobody's perfect. So anyway, that's it. I wanted to say thank you. I'm going to put it in chat right now.
Yeah.
Yes, guys,
Thank
if
you,
if you don't know the answer, don't just take it upon yourself to just figure it out. Go talk to your broker. They're going to cover your ASS. So just make sure, if you have questions and you don't understand, go into the broker room. The brokers want to get to know you. And they want to make sure that you don't get in trouble, because at one point you don't want to be paying out somebody your commission or more just because you didn't ask the questions and get approval. So I'm a big fan going to the broker room. Hope that helps, and not to scare everybody on a Tuesday.
Tech Bits, your hand is raised again. I was going to say thank you for great questions and ask what other questions we had, but go
So-
for it.
So I got a contract the other day from an agent. And when I looked at the revision of the document, it seemed like it was a couple of years old. What do I do about that?
So, I mean, was it an offer for your listing?
Yes.
So I personally would respectfully just say, hey, this is unfortunately, this is not on an updated contract. Would you mind using the latest version, and please resubmit your offer? I always give people the chance. If you use, if I'm not mistaken, Transaction Dust, they always update them through there. So definitely keep that in mind. If you do use Form Simplicity, just make sure as you're going through, when you're submitting when you're getting ready to pull up all of your documents, make sure that you are using the most revised one. They do not automatically update on there. So definitely take a look at that. But if you have questions on if there was an updated one, please go see your broker for your state specifically if they have done any revisions. I know just recently they have an updated condo writer for Florida. So just make sure you always have the updated ones. If you don't know, please go into the broker room and find out. Hope that answers your question.
And thank you, George, for throwing that info into the chat. Your hand is raised. Is it still raised, or did you raise it
He
again?
just
No,
re-raised it.
I raised it again because I
got
wanted to make sure that audibly everybody did hear this. Their hours of operations are 8 in the morning until 11 p.m. at night for your immediate answer for your expert care desk, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 and 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday. So access to your information is available right away. Wanted to make sure you had it. That's all I had. And I'm gonna put my hand down.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, TechBit, stop throwing out your questions, because respectfully, you know the answers to the questions that you're asking, which are fantastic, but I would love to hear from someone else who is out here writing offers. Guys, what would you like to know? Are you writing offers and losing? Are you missing out by just a little bit? Are you not getting responses from the listing agents? Let us know. What are you experiencing right now? And I'll pull a Debbie. We could do this all day.
I'll throw something out there that might be helpful.
Okay, Holly and then Jim.
Okay, yeah, just a reminder, I learned something kind of new. If you ever you guys have probably seen sometimes in the notes on a listing, it'll say like FHA eligible after X date, right? Well, I've seen that too, but I actually didn't know what that really meant until recently when
Holly, babe, you're cutting
and
off.
okay, can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the call's coming in. So I wanted to submit an offer. Okay, it was an open door purchase home, right? So they basically bought it. I don't even know if they did anything, maybe a little paint, but they basically turned it like right then, right? There was wasn't like a long 6-month rehab, right? They just flipped it right away. So I didn't know this, but why the FHA is not eligible is because you have to own a property for, I think, 90 days before
Correct.
it can be sold with an FHA. So didn't know that. And so now, just to let you guys know, if you see Open Door or something that's like a wholesale deal, you think, and maybe they haven't held it for more than 90 days, before you get the client all excited, because this note was not in the public remarks and we went and saw it and it all happened so fast. I didn't see the note until the private remarks in the MLS later when I'm about to write the offer. So it was a huge bummer. They were super disappointed. So that was a good lesson learned. If I ever see Open Door, I'll know now, ooh, double check, because this might not be FHA eligible right now.
Yes. Yeah.
So just a tidbit for you guys, when you're going through to select properties for your clients, I know sometimes we're in a rush and everything like that. However, if you can go through and prior to scheduling the showing, make sure you're going through to see when was the last time that home was purchased and who's the owner, because that's going to save you guys a ton of headache and, you know, disappointment from your client if they fall in love with the property and they can't get approved for it. So please, 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 Holly, thank you so much for bringing that up. That is specifically for FHA. You can do a flip on VA. So just, it can be conventional cash or even VA. They don't have to have the 90-day rule for the flip. So just thank you for Holly for bringing that up. That was great.
Thank you, Holly. And just so you're aware, Holly, you are not the only one that has happened to. We've got some comments in the chat from others saying that they have experienced things like that as well. So thank you for sharing, and I hope somebody learned something new. Joe, you got your hand up, and then David.
Yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Yeah, so I made an offer over the weekend on Friday actually for a home that was listed at $650, but it needed a lot of work. And my buyers really like the neighborhood. Like, this is the neighborhood that they want to be in, but they need to be able to go in and be able to afford to do the things that they want to do. So we put in an offer at $575, and then they got back to us that they would need until Tuesday. I guess they're out of town. So my thing is, I gave them until Sunday. They weren't going to let us know until Tuesday, which is today. So, you know, like, what am I looking at? Should I have been a little bit more aggressive on that, or what do you think? Going so under price and.
So this is something that Tiffany and I were talking about yesterday, and we talked specifically about lowball offers, and I'm using the word lowball because it's 75K under. Something that I have done that helps me build a rapport with the agent is I would let me ask you this. Did you call the agent beforehand to let them know what that offer was going to be?
So this agent would not answer my phone call or call me back, but she would read every text message that I sent her. So it was one of those.
No, trust me, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
People don't answer their phones, and you know, we have no control over that. However, what I would have done differently, is just mentally prepare them for that offer, right? Because sometimes people walk in and they're like, oh my God, they just see the offer come in and it's 75 grand under list, and they're like, I'm not freaking presenting it. Like, who the heck do these people think they are, and everything like that. So what I do is I'm just like, look, I really need to talk to you. Can we get on a phone call really quickly? Because I want to be able to go over this offer with you, just so I can explain where my client's mentality is. Because here's the thing, guys, whether your offer gets accepted by that agent or not, you never know if you're going to have to do a transaction with them in the future for a different client. So you want to have a good rapport with them, because let me tell you, I had clients who were submitting offers for 100,000 under list price, plus asking for 3% concessions. Guess what? I had to work with them. I had to work with them on a different transaction with a different client. And I was just like, look, I know this is brand new on the market. I'm going to submit this offer. I want to give you a heads up so you don't think that I'm a crazy agent for submitting this offer. However, I have to submit what they asked me. I've given them all the data to say that we should do this a little differently, but this is what they still want me to present. So what I'm going to do is, this is what it is. Please don't balk at it. If you can at least have the courtesy of, if just to counter it or anything, that's okay, and go from there. So that's how we had the conversation, so that they understand that I do know how to do my job, even though the comps are saying differently. Or as if I'm explaining something look, this house needs a lot of work. We're going to have to do X, Y, and Z. It needs a roof and AC. So this is why we came in significantly lower. Now, some people, they just want to wait out the weekend to see if they get anything else. Unfortunately, that's out of our control. But having those initial conversations with those agents prior to submitting it, so that when they're seeing these lowball offers come in, they're not like, who the hell does this person think they are? You know what I mean? Because a lot of them do that. Or you don't even call them to let them know that you're submitting an offer, and just submit it and it goes to spam, right, Tiff?
Oh my gosh, yes, it's happened to me. We'll talk about workflows here in just a bit. I wanted to make sure we answered your pressing questions first, but then I'd love to talk a little bit more later about the workflow. Liz, just a side note, Liz, get your ass in the car. It's 7:49. Join us from the car. Yes, okay, sorry. She said that she had to switch at 7 or 8:45, whatever the time was for her, and it's 8:49 for her, 7:49 for me. So she's gonna join us back in just a few minutes from the car. Joe, did that help?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I think I'm just hoping that they counter is really the biggest thing. Is,
Right.
yeah, we can get to 6, they'll be happy.
And out of curiosity, Joe, how long have you been playing this real estate game with us?
Well, I'm full time as of last week. So
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. The reason why I ask is because I myself am experiencing more counters and negotiations, something that I didn't get to experience before. So
Right.
I'm just throwing that out. At least in my market, negotiations are actually happening and not just highest and best, you lost, tough nugs. Less of that. Less of
Yeah.
that. Okay. Awesome. David, your hand is up. And then I want to talk with Patricia about something she put into the chat.
Yeah, hey, good morning, guys. I had something that I wanted to throw out that was somewhat associated to the question that came in just before Joe's. I read into this issue recently, and I thought it'd be nice to discuss, the difference between a condo where you're going to need to put down 25% and a townhouse and a single family home that are within an association, because that was really confusing for me when I first started trying to understand it and deal with it. And I hit a few bumps and I disappointed a customer, and I was really, it hit me hard. So I really wanted to make sure I did right. And I studied up and figured it out. So if we can kind of talk about that, because that was kind of rough for me to wrap my head around, but then I got it. So
Yeah, you want to lead that part? Do you want to
Yeah,
start
sure.
us off?
Yeah. Okay.
let's do it.
So I'll give you the scenario. My client, he's doing conventional loan, and we're looking at he's approved for up to 350, which down here in Broward County is not going to get you a lot. And those things are just, as soon as they hit the market, they're flying off, or they're like in really, really bad shape. And that's not something he's looking for. He's a bit older, so he's not really looking for a rehab. So
Okay.
the issue we were hitting is I was sending him townhomes, but they were falling into the condo category. And when they fall into a condo category and the condos don't have reserves, you hit this issue where your lender requires you to put down 25%. And depending on what the buyer has, a lot of them can't do that. That's, a lot of money. So I didn't really understand, and I kept showing him condos because I was like, oh, this is a townhouse, and I didn't understand what to do. So just to get close, I want to explain to people what you should do. So if you're looking at these types of things and you are running into this, or maybe you haven't yet, what you need to do is look on the MLS, and if it says townhouse, you pull up the property appraiser website, and then you confirm it says townhouse and not condo. If it says condo, then you need to check and find out if they have reserves. If they do not have reserves, I think the minimum is 10%. At least that's what it is down here. But if they don't have at least 10% reserves, then your client is most likely going to have to put down 25% of the total purchase price in order to secure the loan. So that's something I just recommend you guys kind of do in those situations, because that's difficult. When you're looking at a townhouse and then you're like, it's a condo.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean on that one. And thankfully, TechBits has started to try to teach me about that stuff, the reserve for condos and things like FHA approved and switching FHA to conventional if it's not FHA approved, those types of things. And yes, the reserves, because I don't know what it is. TechBits, you're going to come on and talk about the reserves for a second so I don't fudge this up? Are you available? Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, he's just going to let me suffer here.
I got it though. I could What do you want
Yeah.
to know about reserves?
Please,
just-
because I have a question in the chat about reserves. So yes, the only thing I know is that yes, condo association should have a certain amount of money in their reserves. If they don't, then it's not the end of the world, but it would prevent new financing in some cases. But David, go ahead and talk to us about reserves.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So.
Oh, well, I'm like, oh, pat on my back. Shout out to Tech Bits because he did teach me the bare minimum that I needed to know about reserves, quick and dirty. But yes, condos are a unique game, especially for those in Florida. Those are definitely ones that I would suggest any emerging agent consult with their mentor, their sponsor, anyone on the GPS calls, your broker for assistance, okay? Because the condos in Florida could get tricky.
Yeah, just make sure you're looking at the Broward or the property appraiser to confirm it is a townhouse or a single family or a villa. But if it says condo there,
Gotta do more
boom,
research.
you got to find out about the reserves because you might be walking into something, get their hopes up, and then you got to hit them with, oh yeah, sorry, it's 25% down. And then they're going to get really sad or lose trust in you.
I was going to
And-
say you should always confirm with the lender to see. So one, you want to confirm with the condo association and say, hey, is this a financing approved condo association? Because some of them aren't doing it. Then you want to confirm with the lender and say, hey, is this if we are looking to purchase a unit in this property, are you guys able to do the financing for it? So it's a little bit of, it's a little more work for on your side. However, again, like David said, start at the property appraiser's website to verify if it's a townhouse or a condo, because not gonna lie, guys, there's a lot of people who don't know the difference between the two. And that's okay. But again, you'd want to make sure prior to showing your client a property and they fall in love with it, you want to have all the facts in the front end so that you don't look like the agent who doesn't know what they're talking about.
And can I just give one more final teeny tiny tip?
Yeah,
to go away?
go for it.
So what I'm doing now is, because I've been working with this guy for a long time and I had to break his heart like twice and I just refused to do it again. So
Mhm.
I'm going through and I'm like pre-qualifying the properties myself and then making a list of ones that I can actually show him that are not only not condos, they are either a townhouse, an actual villa, or a single family home. And then I'm getting that grouping and I'm sending them as a group to the lender, and the lender is going to tell me if he qualifies for those qualified homes. And once he does, then I get another group back from them of all the homes that he qualifies for that he can actually move into if he wants.
That's awesome, David.
And then you're good to go. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing a bit of your workflow. Shasha and Joe, I see your hands, but Patricia put something into the chat, and so I want to talk to her about this for a second. She had put into the chat saying, good morning. What are your thoughts when competing with cash offers? And I confirmed that her client is financing. They're doing conventional. So Patricia, you're still with us, right? Let's talk about this one. Can you come off mute for just a moment?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
you hear me?
Okay,
Morning.
so you have a buyer who's out here shopping
Mhm.
and sounds like they are competing and possibly losing to cash
Okay.
offers, correct?
Yes, we have lost twice already.
Twice. I have also been in that situation. Mine was slightly different because my clients were financing, but they were using VA loan. We were.
Okay.
We lost on 5 homes and we wrote the best offers that we could for them. And we were losing to cash offers, just blowing us out of the water. What I noticed though, is that those cash offers, the multiple offer situations that we kept finding ourselves in was because they were newer homes to the market. Really fancy ones and everything like that. So what I told them is I adjusted my clients' expectations. Thankfully, in my market, when you lose to a multiple offer situation, they're going to give you all the dirt on what you lost to and how you lost, thankfully. And I share that with my clients and I say, As you know, we wrote the best offer that we could with for your terms, your situation, because everyone's situation is different. Some people do not have cash to compete over things. Some people can't do appraisal gaps. Some people's financing does not allow them to offer concessions. These are all things that you guys should know when it comes to writing offers. So you know if the offer you're writing is actually good or if it's simply an offer. But I adjusted my clients' expectations and I let them know, I said, hey, all of these homes that we are looking at are absolutely beautiful and they are new. There's a lot of competition for the new ones. They needed to find a home. So what we did is we shifted our tactics and started looking at homes that were on for 7 and more days with less competition from the cash buyers.
Okay, gotcha.
I would suggest possibly if they have any room in their criteria or in their time frame to possibly look at homes that are not exactly what all of these cash buyers are going for. Basically, you're playing the cash buyer game by your buyers being put into that arena, basically. And if they are getting burnt out, if they're getting tired, if they're getting emotional playing that game, pick them up, put them in a different arena, let them play with other people and try to see if their offers, because it's their offer, you're just writing it. Okay. So it's kind of, I don't try to be mindful of that. When you guys are writing offers, you need to know not only what you can write for your clients based off of their situation and their financing, you need to be considering the market. Who are you competing against? What offers? Is it a lot of cash buyers? Is it my area? We have either cash or VA because we have a lot of military people. So those are primarily our two. What is it in your market? Do you know?
The one
When
we're
you're
looking for is mostly investor.
Yeah. Mostly
They're looking
investors.
investment property. Yes. So it's an investor that is looking to buy a property, but she wants to put in a conventional loan under her name. And so we are having a hard time competing with cash offers and also fast closing. So that's where we are been going from.
Is she trying to find what? Well, let me back up from that. It sounds as though she's playing with other investors. Does she have any room to change her criteria so that she is not literally searching for the same thing that the rest of the investors in her area are looking for? Because investors, it's about the bottom dollar. So maybe find something that's different when it comes to the ROI for her. Maybe it's slightly less, or maybe she has to do less work right away. I don't know, because I'm not looking at those homes, so I'm not sure which one she's going for. But that's what I would suggest.
And the search, our search criteria is 90 days or more in the market, and that she's offering full asking price. And but we still with the 45 days closing, which that's what she needs to get everything together. That's where we are. It's getting hard.
Can she tweak her locate? Can she tweak the geography?
Yeah.
We can. Yeah, we're gonna have to kind of expand a little more. That's a great question. Yes, we
yeah.
I was going to say my question is, why does she need a full 45 days? I think that's a lender question. Like between you and I, why does she need 45 days to be able to close on something?
She's doing is she doing hard money like a DSCR?
Yeah, she'll be doing hard money, but if it doesn't go through as fast as she wants to, she want to be able to back up with a conventional loan.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that she don't lose the property.
Yeah, 45 days is standard for most hard direct lenders, DSCR. Hey, I have a question too. Or I wanted to throw this tip out there actually before I forget it. Y'all probably already know this, but like if you're in a vacation market and you're seeing a lot of these cash money, are a lot of them are they sometimes sight unseen?
Patricia, are these offers
I'm sorry.
sight unseen?
No, she'll be looking at she will.
I know
she be walking the property and all that.
The other ones, saying, is it common to see sight unseen offers up where you are?
Not anymore. About 3 months ago it was, but not as much anymore.
Okay.
At least not the ones that I've been
sometimes-
working with.
Okay. Because sometimes if it seems like it's a sight unseen to me, like just the other day there was one, it was off the market within like a day and it was a cash buy, and it seemed like to me, I don't know, it just screams sight unseen, and I just had the feeling sight unseen. And so I called the agent, got the 411, like still didn't know it was sight unseen. He didn't say that, but I said, hey, you know, my buyer loves it, so maybe, you know, just let me know what goes on. If I know it's a short deal, so like that's fine, it's probably gone. But he called me like 2 days later and said, sure enough, it was sight unseen. She didn't like the stairs, blah blah blah, and she backed out. So I was the first phone call. So sometimes that's pretty cool when you're like the first chance to get back in there, you know, when you pop your head in there, just
Gotcha.
you know, make that.
Make it present. Yeah.
Just to kind of sum it up, guys, to help you when writing offers, it is best for you to know where you can run and play and what hard set limits you have based off of the financing and your client. What are things that are flexible and what isn't? Because that will help you when it comes to writing the offer, because you need to know what is best case scenario for your client, worst case scenario for your client. You're going to call the listing agent before you submit your offer and ask. You let them know, hey, my clients love the home. They've asked me to go ahead and draft up the offer. Before I do that, is there any certain terms that your seller is expecting to get or really wanting to have? Some agents will be like, they're just looking at the bottom line. They're being tight-lipped, and that's okay. You can still ask questions and say, fine, that's awesome. Of course, we all understand that. What about closing time frame? Do they have flexibility? What are they shooting for? Because 9 out of 10 times when those agents seem hard-lipped and they're looking for the highest, they're looking for the best terms, and they're really vague. As soon as I start asking questions, they do open up. I say, okay, well, what about their timeline? Well, actually, they're flexible on the timeline a little bit, but they would ideally like to do this because we're moving and they've already bought a house over here. And I start to find out more about that seller situation. When I find out more about that seller situation, I'm thinking back, do I have any room to change, sweeten this offer in any way? Can I advise my clients, hey, I spoke to the listing agent and I know you wanted to close in 45 days, but I found out that they're moving and they need to be out in little less than 3 weeks. So do you think you could do that? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Then let's go ahead and change the offer so that we can hit that sweet spot for them. Just throwing that out there. Patricia, does that help at all for your clients?
Yes, absolutely does. It does.
Awesome. Awesome. Keep us posted. So let us know because we can't wait to hear when you actually find the right home and go under contract with them. Okay.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for the nuggets. Awesome.
Yes. Shasha, you have been incredibly patient. What is your question?
So I actually have the same issue where I'm running into cash buyers and getting beat out on deals. So you shared some great information. So I'll just kind of share some things that have been helpful to me. So recently, we wrote an offer on a condo, and unfortunately the lender made a mistake and said that my client was approved for the condo, and they indeed were not. It was not an FHA approved condo. It has to be HUD qualified. But needless to say, when we wrote the offer, I called the listing agent, like you said, I gave them the heads up. I found out what was important to them, and they had a specific date of moving out in mind. And so we made sure that was a part of our offer. We were able to get the lender to verify that they could do a quick close of 15 days. So that was drafted up in my offer as well, because I knew I'd be competing against cash buyers again. And then I also had my lender call the listing agent and say that they were confident that the loan could close and that this was a good deal. And so the listing agent actually wrote me and said that was a good move. That was really smart on your end, and that they had a cash buyer, but they were actually heavily considering our offer. So I think these are things to keep in mind when you're trying to compete, because I mean, it's hard However, when you go the extra mile to do those things, then the listing agent gets really impressed and shows, that you're really wanting this deal. You can close it. And so it looks just as good as cash would look.
Absolutely. And guys, also keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with being a backup offer. So something that has helped me is if I got beat out by offers, sorry guys, the baby's in the background, but if you guys run into a situation where you got beat out by an offer, just have a conversation with the listing agent and say, hey guys, like for whatever reason, like my client is still very much interested in your property. If this does not work out, because you know how cash is, guys, when you go in with cash, they're like, oh, woohoo, yay, we're gonna pay top dollar for it. And then their inspection comes in and they go chop, 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 chop. And the seller doesn't want to do that. They don't want to give all the concessions that they're giving. They credits and stuff. So guess what? Now they're, the seller and the buyer aren't coming to terms. That listing agent is calling you before it even has the opportunity to go back on the market. Like, look, I know you've been interested. You've been reaching out to me for the past 7 days, making sure that this is going to go through. Where it doesn't look like we're going to work this out because the seller just asked for a $50,000 credit. Is your buyer still interested? And I'm just like, okay, cool. I've done that several times where we waited 2 months for property. I was for a week basis for 2 months, and guess what? Didn't work out, and we end up being able to snag the property way under list price. So there is nothing wrong with being a backup, offer, and you can do it. Just, hey, if this comes back on the market, you can go through and do that, or you can actually be a backup offer where it automatically slides to you, where you have the backup offer addendum and go from there. I'm sorry, guys, give me 1 sec.
You're good. Okay, Tech Bits, you got your hand up. I'm loving this discussion, you guys.
Yeah,
Tech
backup
Bit.
offers. So
Yes.
let's be really clear about backup offers. You are actually not in a contract to purchase that property because they cannot be in 2 contracts at the same time. Okay. Now you want to try to get into the position to be the backup. And that's great if you're working on the side for the buyer. But if you're working on the side for the seller, it's our obligation to bring the best and highest and most offer that fits their needs and conditions. You do at some point have to pop it back to the market. It has to come back onto the market, and then you can go back and accept any offers that they want to accept. So just be careful here. It's not an automatic. Okay.
Good to know on the listing agent side. Like, it makes sense, but at the same time, I could see how in a rush, one falls out, you call the other agent, hey, we had a falling out. You still want the house? Yes, fantastic. Okay, cool. Still under contract. Like, no, you're not still. You weren't, and now you are again. There's a difference.
You have to get out of that first contract.
Yeah.
And now the offer that's currently in front of them and has been in front of them now meets the needs, the terms, and the conditions that the seller needs. And that's the key point. Because if someone comes in and says, well, we were going to pay them more money. Okay, but the terms and conditions is what dictates it. All terms, all conditions. So speedy time to the market, you can close in 2 weeks, you win. So be careful on which side you're on and how you're trying to position yourself or your clients. So
this offer writing mastermind came about from a few requests, but I wanted to share with you guys in particular my experience with my Tennessee couple, because that was crazy and great at the same time. So this couple I was working with for 2 years, they were always going to be cash or contingent on the sale of one of their homes. Always. We were never going to do financing. Fantastic. Well, when the right home came up, I knew we were going to be up against cash buyers because that's all I had been up against. This home was on the market for 2 days. My clients live in Tennessee. I previewed it, told them, this is your home. I need you to come out here. They got in the car, drove out. They saw the home, wanted to write the offer. I let them know, you are going to be competing against cash offers. You will not win in this market if you write an offer on contingent on the sale of your home in another market as well, like in a completely different state, Tennessee. They said, what do you suggest? Because all of our cash is now divvied up. The large chunks of it are divvied up. We don't have quick access to it all. I said, let's talk to a lender, because I know you guys are well qualified enough and you have your statements accessible on your phone. Let's talk to a lender and get you pre-qualified, like pre-approved today, so that I can have that letter to go in with this offer. They came into my open house where my lender was, got pre-approved on the spot so that I could write that offer. Before we wrote it, I called the agent and let them know the spiel. Hey, we're going to be writing an offer. Are there any terms? The listing agent told me the father had passed away. The mother had just been moved into an in-care facility. It was all on the daughter. She was very overwhelmed. Those things said to me, fast, least amount of hassle. The daughter is not going to want to take care of repairs and vendors and contractors. And she's highly emotional. Let's see if we can help them out as well, considering she is now having to take care of the finances for her parents. So when I told my clients, hey, this is what I have found out, they said, well, let's offer them a fast close. We won't want inspections because we won't worry about that. Like, we'll do the inspections, but we won't request repairs. Do you think that's enough? And I told them, I said, again, we're competing against other cash offers. You don't want to just throw money at this. So let's write an escalation addendum so that we increase your offer. And I explained it to them in the increments and everything of that nature. I told them the maximum that they would be paying if that offer was accepted based off of how it was written on the escalation addendum. I said, you're going in at 325, but with this, let's say another offer you go toe to toe with the escalation addendum, the most you will pay is this. Are you okay with that? They said, absolutely. So I wrote up the offer and I called the agent and I said, hey, you know, the offer's coming in. Thanks so much for sharing with me a little bit of the backstory about the home and the previous owners. You know, my clients really feel for your clients. So what we did is we came in above listing price. We have an escalation addendum that will go up to this amount. No repairs, quick close. Oh, and my buyers have decided to throw $1,000 towards your seller's closing costs. It was that $1,000 and the escalation that won us that home. We competed against 5 other offers. The agent even called me. She said, I have to call highest and best. Yours is at the top, but I have to call highest and best because there's a few right below. I said, that's fine. I totally understand. We did win. The other offer also had an escalation addendum. Theirs was in $1,000 increments. Ours were in $2,000 increments. Their maximum was $339. No, $340. Ours went up to $345. And with that escalation addendum, we locked in at $342. 5 other offers, guys. Cash offers that we were competing against. I knew the terms that the daughter wanted to close. I understood the situation, so I knew what could be deemed as, quote, insulting or absolutely not for that situation. I started to build rapport with the listing agent so that when she presented, she could say, hey, this agent, Tiffany, she sent all of the docs in, everything. She has home inspections scheduled already. She's serious. Her buyers are serious. Because that's another thing I do. When I put in the inspection time frame, I also confirm with the home inspector, hey, I'm about to go in on this offer. Can you see this home in this city in like 5 days? At any point in 5 days? And they'll say, yeah, definitely. let us know what day and we'll be there. So then I can even put in there tentatively scheduled for this day so that the sellers know, take us and it's smooth sailing. We are committed. We're moving forward. It's those little things that can make the difference. Calling the agent makes such a difference. On my listing, I had an agent submit an offer. They had never seen the home, never showed it, never called, never texted. For 4 hours, their offer sat in my spam until they called me and was like, can you get receipt of my offer? And then I panicked, like, holy shit, did I miss an offer? And I'm refreshing, checking all inboxes, wondering what the heck happened. No, it was in my spam. Honestly, it should have been in spam because that offer was outrageous. It was 50,000 below ask price, asked for 3% seller concessions, asked for a 1% repair cap, and a home warranty from my sellers to the buyer. A conversation, like Liz said, a conversation to let me know that that was coming in would have been appreciated, because then I could have found a nicer way to present it rather than, we got an offer and here are the details, because I sure as shit did. I definitely did. I was 4 hours behind when they had submitted. So when it came to presenting that offer, there was no fluff and glam and here's an offer that we just received. This is the purchase price. These are the things that they're asking for. What would you like to do? That's how that one was presented. Because that agent put me in a time crunch as well to present their offer because they did not effectively communicate with me. The phone calls, even if they don't answer, please shoot them a text, say, hey, I just showed this home. My buyers would like to write an offer. Can you talk? If they still don't call you or answer, then you're still writing an offer and you are what I say is flying blind with that offer because you don't have any guidance. You don't know where the runway is. You don't know where that seller wants to be. So you are flying blind, just writing that offer, unfortunately. But those offers can still win if you know your clients' parameters, if you know your competition in the market. Know what you can play with, know what is set. Like if purchase price is set, like they're not budging, okay, I understand that. Are you going to pay for this or this instead? No, you want the seller to pay for that too? Oh, okay, sure. Well, then let's try to give the seller their ideal closing time then. You are guiding your clients. Yes, you are the one writing the offer. Yes, they are choosing the terms that you put into the offer, but you can still educate them 100%. So if they're saying, I want to put an offer in 100,000 below list price, of course, we can definitely do that. Let me ask why you are choosing to do so. Okay, understood. Just so you're aware, the other offers that may come in will not be that low. Do you want to change your offer? No? Okay, this is how I'm writing it up. And then you still call the agent and let them know. Tech Bits, your hand is still up, and then Mia.
So, and I know this contract well, Tiffany. For the people that are here, the Tennessee one.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that we do here among ourselves, and almost everyone has a sponsor or a partner or has just found a few people here to help them out. On that particular one, Tiffany called me and said, Robert, what do I do to win this offer? And I took the other side. I made pretend I was the listing offer looking to reject her offer. I didn't want it at all. And we basically worked through every little crevice of a contract saying, is there anything I can do here? Is there anything I can do about home inspections? Can I pay for WDO? Can I pay closing costs? Can I do this? Do I put non-refundable escrow down? What can I do? I see Allie's here. Allie's obviously does mortgages.
Yeah.
We reached out and made sure that we were locked down, literally locked down with a lender. Like she said, a pre-approval is great. To me, you send me a pre-approval. To me, it doesn't mean anything. You haven't proven to me that you can even afford this. lock down with the lender. Make sure the lender is locked in. The questions with the lender. Have you seen have you seen tax records? Have you seen W-2s? Have you verified all these things? Their lender should be able to do that. If not, to me, it's still not the strong offer. And then
And obviously, I knew
escalation
that
clauses.
happened
And we don't
because
really
it
like to,
happened right
yeah, we don't like it. I don't like
there.
escalations. But there's a difference between a $500 escalation, $1,000 escalation, and a $1,250 escalation, okay? So $1,250, I'm always $250 over. If I really want to get into it, do I go to 1,500? Do I go to 1,750? I mean, they have a top end number that they're going to stop at. Make the escalation, get them there a little quicker, and eliminate others. But use everything that you know and assume you're on the other side, that you are the receiving agent. And how are you interpreting this? And again, as Tiffany said, make sure you got every form filled out exactly the way they want it. Exactly. Call them, let them know that every single thing is coming over. Let them know that, call them to make sure that they received it. Let them know closing is always a flexible one. My contracts will say buyers and sellers agree to close earlier than date shown online and whatever that line that is, as possible, which means both sides could possibly close earlier. I'm not committing to it on a date. I'm committing to it together that they could close this. Or you can say, or they could be flexible. If they need to stay for an extra 2 weeks, we can probably work that out. But use everything you can to win. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. Mia. Hello.
Hi. So it's funny, I actually received an escalation clause on my recent listing, and they were only willing to go over $100 on the offer. I called her and I was like, hey, did you mean to put 1,000 or is this really $100? And she said, no, it's really 100. I was like, okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Like, but
yeah, they want to win by just that much, but that's what Robert was talking about. Robert, I was like, should I do 1,000? And Robert said, well, why don't we do 2,000? What's stopping them from doing 2 to show that they want this home, that they're not messing around? $100. If you had to ask, like, is this a typo?
Yeah. Yeah, I was confused. But so my question was, when you guys, so on a listing, right? If you get multiple offers, but none are at the asking price, and it's not like, so this listing, I ran comps. There was a comp that recently, the most recent comp that was sold at 310. My client's property had a lot of improvements. It was really nice. So I priced it at 309.9. But the offers that I got were at 300. And that's because most of the listings in the area sold between like 290 to 300, except for that one listing that sold at 310. So my question is, if you have multiple offers and they are under asking, what do you do in that scenario to negotiate before presenting it to your seller? Or do you even do that and just present it as is? Like,
pick me, please pick me.
Robert, we'll refer to you for this one. Go for it.
Okay.
Go, Robert.
The contract has 2 parties on it, a buyer and a seller, not an agent. An agent does not negotiate. An agent presents the position of their client. So you take all the offers, you put them in a spreadsheet, you list out all the different terms and conditions, and you present it to them. Now, if you've got multiples and they don't like any of them, we would ask for best or highest. Or what's stopping us from writing a counteroffer for every single one of them? And tell them what our terms and conditions would be, and make them come back and see if they want to change their game. We have that form, right?
Yeah.
We're negotiating. You know, we don't like you offered me 350. I really want 360. I'll write it back as 360.
Okay. Yeah, that
But
makes
you're only
sense.
putting down $500 escrow. I'm going to make a $2,500 escrow. force them into a better position if you have to, right? This is to get the buyers and the sellers to agree. It's all documented. It's signed by everybody. It's not us. Never, under any circumstance, are you to negotiate a contract. This whole verbal stuff sounds great, and I will usually, I'll tell you how it usually works. Comes over, write a counter offer. Then the parties are trying to get together. Then the agents are trying to figure out what the parties can do to get together. Then we go back to a written contract. But the first response should be a written counter offer, so everyone knows exactly what's going on here. Okay?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And in the case that your seller is just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's take, you know, like they don't even want to counter or negotiate anything. Then that's it, right? Like you don't tell the, like, I mean, even if like, cause I presented that option, like, hey, we can counter this. Cause it was about, I mean, it was 10K under asking. So as long as they know what their options are, but they still choose to just accept it, then that's it. We've done our job. Right.
Correct. It's up to them if they want to accept it or if they want to counter it. That's entirely up to them. So it's their decision. All we have to do is provide them with the information, and that's it. That's all we can do.
And in my emails, when I let them know about the offers, I always put at the bottom of the email, your next actions to take are either to 1, accept offer as it is, 2, counter offer any or all terms, 3, decline offer. So that for each single one, you know your options.
Yeah.
For each single offer, because you know some people are a little crazy. I did recently, though, my listing, we did put that back under contract. That was the first time since I have been licensed to take negotiations to that level, and it was so much fun, you guys. Oh my goodness.
It is a lot of fun.
Freaking fun. He submitted the offer, we chatted, I presented, hey, you know, it's not exactly where they wanted to be at, but they're considering it. Is there anything that you guys can do or anything you guys want to move around on? Because we do plan to counter. I just wanted to know. And he's like, well, yeah, no, there is things. Of course, not going to tell you all the cards. And I said, of course not. No. I just wanted to know, like, when I receive the counter from my client, what should my reaction be when I prepare to send it over to you? Just out of curiosity. And he's like, no, it's fine. We kind of expected a counter. That would be great. Awesome. I get the counter, tell him, he calls me back. Yeah, so that counter, I said, yeah, exactly. Where are we going to be at with that? And he's like, it's not going to be a good thing, but let's see what I can do. How about we do this and this, we remove this and we change this. I'm like, I'll present it. We'll see what they can do. At some point I was like, his name is Connor. I was like, Connor, can you just send it to me in an email? And that's what I will read, because I'm tired of the red all over our contract. I would really like to just have a final one. So how about we just, take this that way? And then we'll put it all onto the contract for everyone. And he said, no, that's great. Because at that point, he submitted, we countered, they countered, we countered, accepted. Like, it was great. It was not a highest and best, so sorry you lost, go find another house, which is what we have been going through, type of situations on the buyers. So to be able to have those conversations, he and I were going back and forth the day before we ratified, we were on the phone back and forth until almost like 9 o'clock at night. At that point, we were like, hey, have you finished eating dinner? Are you still eating? Okay, well, really quick, keep chewing. This is what it is. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. It was actually fun. And I really hope that you guys get to experience that soon, really soon. Okay. It's related to the writing of the offer. The market is changing for all of us in certain ways. If you say it's not changing, then you're not paying attention close enough. Okay. The market we're in right now is not the same market from last year. It's not the same market from the year before. We need to be able to evolve in our skill sets and in our offer writing and our knowledge base of this industry and of our clients in order to succeed. That's why we wanted to have this call with you, to hear what you guys are experiencing, to help support you, get you your answers so that you can continue to be successful. And Virginia, your hand is up, my love. How can we help?
Good morning. So, you know, I have a question because I have my listing. So I received a phone call from this agent and he told me I want to give, you know, offer you a cash offer that was 120,000 lower than my asking price. So of course my seller said, no, thank you. You know, I did present this offer to my seller, but she said, no, thank you. So she took his client to see the house this past weekend, and they came and they offered $95,000 below asking price. And I was like, I will present this to my client, but I really don't think she's gonna go for it. So he started yelling at me, you're gonna stay with that property like forever, because this is not the right price. You're overpriced. I know that subdivision, when they built those homes, they were like in their 400s, and now she wants double. And the other houses that were sold, they were like in the 735,000. So I just, you know, I was like, okay, well, thank you for the advice, but, you know, I appreciate it. I will just pass this on to my client. If you want to make an offer, just sending on writing. So then we hung up, and then he sent me like a huge text message telling me, you know, like, this is not gonna sell ever. Like, your customer, perhaps she loves her house, but this is not what she's gonna get. You're gonna start lowering the price until she's gonna be out of options. So
Tech Bits and Will. I'm going to refer to Tech Bits and Will because
I was gonna say, don't get me started.
I'm born and raised in Jacksonville, and those are so many fighting words that just happened where I'm like, somebody please
Report
advise
him.
us on
Report him.
Yes, the nice
Report
way to
him.
go forward with reporting, because that is extremely uncalled for.
You know,
I'm sorry that happened to
he
you.
was intimidating me, and I don't know how to respond. And I'm a teacher, and I'm a listener, and I'm really listening to this guy.
Sorry.
And
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Robert, how do we deal with agents that slide in and talk shit about your listing and come at you aggressive on your phone and in text message, so you have some form of written proof?
yes,
How do we go through this, Tech Bits? How do we proceed?
Probably an email that says something like, thank you very much, Tiffany, for our active discussion on my listing. Although maybe you don't feel as though it meets the needs of your client, and you feel as though perhaps it's off base on how I've marketed it, I'm here to, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm here to represent my client's interests. If you feel otherwise, or you want to have a continued discussion about more merits about this, I would suggest that me, you, your broker, and my broker get on a call and we go through this together. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
That's still a
See, for
little
me,
too nice.
he spent too much time on that. I'm just gonna say thank you and be done.
No, I'm done. Well, I'm 18 years in this, and I'm just done with, who's on this? I'm done with these dumbasses who think they can come in and play this game with me, because I will actually just call their broker right up and tell them that they need to put their agent in order.
I was
done
gonna
with
say,
this.
guys,
I don't take this shit.
we are all adults, we're all business owners, and we do not tolerate disrespect. So do not allow anyone to disrespect you in any way, shape, or form. Like, had that been me, I would have been like, I'm calling your broker and I'm reporting you, point blank simple. Like, that's just what you do. We don't tolerate disrespect, guys. Like, you, Virginia, I am so sorry that happened to you. And that is how he feels. That is your opinion, and clearly your client wants my listing. So if you want my listing, it has to be approved by my seller. So with that being said, guess what? Your buyer isn't buying my house, my seller's house, point blank simple. And now that you're being disrespectful to not just myself and my seller, what makes you think that my client is going to work with you in order to sell you the property?
Because Virginia, the next thing they're going to come with was, well, you don't know anything about the market. You know, I'm a broker, right? You say that to me and you threw it down, and we're going at that point. I'm just saying, I will not be intimidated by any agent, any broker, anyone in this business. I am a professional. I will keep it professional. And if you want to play that game, you're going to get a professional response. And you may get a professional call to your broker. I'm done with this game.
So should I
That's-
call the
That's
broker?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm going to say yes. Just as an FYI, and I have experienced something similar last year. Robert knows when I had a really bad listing, I didn't like her either. It's fine. Yes, I knew it was overpriced. She knew it was overpriced. The world knew it was overpriced. An agent decided to reach out to her via Facebook Messenger to talk to her directly about our overpriced listing, asking her to confirm the actual agent commission because it seemed a little low to him. We were splitting 5, by the way. We were splitting 5%, and he still called to talk shit about that as well. Or he messaged her. She sent me the screenshots. I had them. And Robert told me go ahead and report him to the broker. I had a different experience because I did reach out to the broker, left a voicemail, and then found out from Facebook that she was on vacation for 2 weeks, and then she came back and nothing happened. I did decide to let it go after that and just save that agent in my phone as not his name, and I won't say what, so that I could avoid him and his horrible tactics. But I have gone through the process to try to do it. I did not take it to that formal reporting to the board level. I just decided hold on one second. Hold on really quick. Thanks for joining, everyone. We're going to stop the